Hey everybody, how's it going? Mark here, back again with another video teaching you how to play the clarinet. In this episode, I'm going to cover a few key beginner mistakes that may make it harder for you to play your clarinet. Anything ranging from squeaking on your mouthpiece to not covering the holes correctly. And so I'll cover a wide range of those things. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. Here we go. The first thing I want to cover has to do with your embouchure when you're playing notes on the clarinet. So when you're playing a note like a C and you're covering holes and holding the clarinet with your left hand, it's not a problem. But then when you get to F and G, sometimes if you're not biting down on the mouthpiece with your teeth on the top, then the clarinet can just fall out of your mouth. And so you really want to make sure that your front teeth are really biting down on the top of the mouthpiece to keep it in your mouth. You can tell if you're doing this correctly by putting the clarinet in your mouth, and if you can wiggle the clarinet with your hand, that means that you're not biting down firm enough on the mouthpiece. I'll give you an example. So here's what it looks like when you bite down correctly and the clarinet does not wiggle. I couldn't move the mouthpiece in my mouth while I was biting down. But now, if I'm using my top lip instead of my teeth, here's what it would look like. See how the mouthpiece moved in my mouth while I was biting down on it? That's because my teeth were not on the mouthpiece directly. So if you're having this problem and the clarinet is actually falling out of your mouth when you play the F and the G because you're not holding on to the clarinet, make sure you're making contact with the mouthpiece with your front two teeth, just like this. Okay, so that's the first problem. Let's jump into another common mistake. Another really common mistake when you're first starting to play the clarinet is not covering the holes, the open holes on your clarinet all the way with your fingers. A really easy way to make sure that you're covering the holes is by using the C fingering, right? So you have your thumb on the back hole and then you're covering the 1, 2, and 3 holes, and you press down really, really hard on those keys, and then you look at your fingers and you should have the rings on your fingers just like that. And so you want to make sure that every single finger on the clarinet that's covering a hole has those rings. So try it with me now. Hold the C fingering, right? So you have the thumb on the back, 1, 2, 3. Press down really hard on those keys with me. Then take your hands off and look at your fingers, and you should have those nice rings on there showing that you're covering the keys properly. So that's another really common mistake. Let's jump into another common one. Another common problem that we see in beginners starting to play the clarinet is some fingering issues. So in the third part of the last series where I discussed the first 5 notes that you can play on the clarinet, the C, D, E, F, and G, you may have noticed that we only used this back thumb hole and these front 3 fingers, right? So you want to make sure that you're not touching this key here or these keys on the side right here, because then you may not get clear notes on your clarinet. So I'll give you a quick example. So if I'm playing a C, right, so thumb hole 1, 2, 3, it should sound something like this. But if I'm hitting the side key right here, it's going to sound a little bit like this, and this is not what we want. So make sure that you're not hitting this key right here, this key in the middle right here, this key on the top, or any of these keys on the side right here, the fun keys, when you are playing any of those notes. We'll jump into what those keys do in the future videos, but for these first 5 notes, make sure that you're only using the thumb hole key right here and these first 3 on the front right here. Okay? Let's jump into another common mistake. Another common mistake that we see in beginners starting to play the clarinet is how they hold the clarinet on the back with the thumb rest. So the thumb rest should be held with your right thumb on the top of the thumb, right here. So that's just going to sit right underneath the thumb rest, just like that. Don't put your pointer finger under there. Don't put on your middle finger, your ring finger. It should always be your right thumb and using the top of the thumb just like that. All right? So those are some common problems that I see in a lot of beginners when they start playing the clarinet. If you have any other questions, comments, or problems that you're having playing, please drop a comment down in the comment section or ask your band director, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like and subscribe. It really, really helps me out, and I'll see you in the next one.